Hey everybody, welcome to the Always Out of Market podcast. It's your silly boys here, Ryan, Jason, and Steven. Just a bunch of silly gooses. We're about to talk about some Week 15 games. Don't worry, I'm still deep in the spiral of football depression. Haven't gotten out of that yet, so look forward to me being sad again this week. But yeah, before that though, we got some spicy news from Jason. I actually don't know if it's spicier at all. It might be boring news, but let's hear some news from Jason.
Well, there's really not like a ton this week that happened. I literally have 3 bullet points, and that's it. The first one is that Justin Herbert's out for the season after having a broken right index finger, and he had surgery on it, so he's out for the rest of the year.
Another starting QB. That's fucking crazy.
Another starting QB goes down.
There goes my backup quarterback in fantasy football too. So I had to pick up Jordan Love in fantasy.
Yep. And then we can stick with the Chargers. They got absolutely destroyed on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, they did.
63-21 by the Raiders. And after that, they cleaned house a little bit. They got rid of their defensive run game coordinator / defensive line coach, Jay Rogers, head coach Brandon Staley, and GM Tom Telesco are all out of a job until another desperate team decides to hire them for some reason and gives them another chance, because that's what the NFL teams do, apparently.
Reminder that Brandon Staley was brought in because he was considered a defensive-minded coach, like just an absolute incredible defensive guru type coach, and we just saw them get brutally destroyed by a team that put up a goose egg the week before. So that's saying something, and you can just tell, like, based on what was going on, he lost the locker room a while back, but especially that game. And the 21 points were all in garbage time, basically, anyway, for the most part.
Yeah, they were already down like 49-0 when they scored their first touchdown. So, I mean, they weren't going to win anyway. It was never a close game. I saw, what is their offensive coordinator's name? Is it Kellen Moore?
Kellen Moore, yeah.
Yeah, I saw he turned down the interim head coaching job because he doesn't want to ruin his chances at getting a head coaching job next season for a team that fires their coach. I don't remember who they said they named for their interim coach and interim GM, but they can't do any worse than Brandon Staley and Tom Telesco did. So, and if they manage to be worse somehow, just disband the organization at that point.
Go back to San Diego or something.
They already don't have a fan base as it is. So, I mean, every home game for them is an away game. So, I don't know. They're not gonna make the playoffs this year. Take your shots while you have them. You know, just get a better draft spot, draft somebody. I don't even know what they need at this point.
What needs to happen is they need to disband the Los Angeles Chargers and then promote the Birmingham Stallions to be in the NFL.
There you go. That sounds like a great idea to me.
Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
No, really, that's the thing. Looking at it, their roster is excellent. So the fact they're doing this bad really just shows coaching has been a problem. And I don't think, and I get why Kellen Moore doesn't want to do it, because I think he's kind of been exposed. You know, he was at the Cowboys and they let him go. He went to the Chargers or whatever. I don't remember the exact scenario for that, but you see what he's done with that Chargers team that has not been very good this year, despite how good their roster is. But I don't know.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Oh well, I'll think about it. I'll think of it like at the end of the episode, probably what I was gonna say.
Sounds good.
Damn it, I don't remember what I was gonna say, and it was gonna be a good point.
Well, we'll just pretend like I got cut out in the edit. Oh, that's a good point, Jason.
Okay.
Darn! I accidentally cut it out of the episode.
Oh, shoot! Guess we'll never see that good point that Jason just made.
Yep. Dang.
Sorry, folks.
Let's move on though.
Well, the other thing that I have on here, in which I didn't do a ton of of looking into news this week, so I may have missed some things. So if you guys have anything off the top of your head after this, we can talk about it. But NBC reported that the Patriots are officially parting ways with Bill Belichick at the end of this season. Robert Kraft apparently made that decision after they lost to the Colts in Germany earlier this year. And I mean, they obviously, reporters asked Bill Belichick in the first interview he had, or like press conference, what are his thoughts on the fact that he's not going to be the coach after this season, and all he said was they're looking forward to playing Kansas City this week. So he's already been named the lead candidate to be the Chargers head coach next season. So
he's done so well with the Patriots without Tom Brady. So
yeah, well, people are looking at it like he can work with Justin Herbert and make that team really good. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he's going to be able to make Justin Herbert be that good.
If I was the owner for the Chargers, I would probably be more interested in somebody like Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator. But that does seem to be the rumor, is that they would go for Bill Belichick. But the question is, who the hell are the Patriots going to get?
It's a great question. And, I mean...
Gus Malzahn.
Probably not. I would love to put a bet on those odds and it actually hit. That would be crazy.
Jim Harbaugh coming back to the NFL, you think, next year?
That's a rumor every season.
Yeah, I know. So...
He's not coming back. It's like Saban's not going back. He's not going back.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought again. This is not going to be a good episode for me.
You need to take a nap after this, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I see your Stegosaurus died.
I just don't have it plugged in on my tree.
It looks like a little limp,
dead
body in the background.
Anyway, if you guys have any other news you can think of off the top of your head that's worth mentioning outside of like games themselves, then
the only thing I can think of is there's been there's like a big meeting thing going on for the NFL, like in Texas right now, and it's one of the smaller meetings. Of course, they have the bigger meeting where they really start talking about rule changes and stuff later on in the year, or later on like in the season, at the beginning of the new year. But I've been hearing them talk a lot about the hip drop tackle again, talking about potentially banning it. So what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I mean, I just want to know how you're supposed to play defense.
Exactly. That's what I think about. Like, the fact that we have so many teams that have such good defenses, and the fact that games don't go up to like damn near 70, 80 points in the NFL. I don't know how, because there's just no good way to tackle anyone now. They've ruined it.
What blows my mind is that the NFL has said that their stance on how to play is that the defense is supposed to play to protect the offense. Like, they're supposed to make sure the offensive players don't get hurt when they tackle them. And I don't understand how you're supposed to be able to tackle somebody and make sure you don't hurt them at the same time.
You can't really, and that's part of the problem. But
yeah,
I get it though, because you know what they're thinking about. They try to, in my opinion, I think they're trying to make it sound like, oh yeah, we're all about player safety. I feel like a lot of it has to do with a big team putting up a lot of points. That's a lot more exciting to watch. So they want people to watch games. So that's why. And I mean, look what's happened this year. There's been so many bad games because a bunch of starting quarterbacks are out. So, and that, because of the quarterback contracts right now, that completely tanks a team's season if they lose their starting quarterback because they don't have enough money to allocate other places. So,
guys, I just remembered my first point that I forgot earlier.
Go ahead, buddy.
The biggest challenge for the Chargers next season is that they have a quarter of their salary cap tied to 4 players on their team. Those being Justin Herbert, Khalil Mack, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen. Those guys account for a quarter of their salary cap next season.
That's insane.
So, if they want to sign anybody, who the hell are they going to be able to afford?
Unless they can renegotiate the contracts or something. But
I mean, they could just keep pushing back the money, but eventually it's going to catch up to them.
Yeah.
So I guess you look at it as, do we just, take the punches now and suck for a couple of years and then get back under the salary cap, or do we keep pushing it back and suck even more down the road?
They've already wasted a lot of Herbert's NFL career at this point, so I think you put it off till later still and just try to get something good out of him at this point. But
yeah. Anyway, didn't mean to backtrack. I just happened to remember that.
No, that's fine.
Like I said, I would. So anyway.
So is that it?
Yeah,
for
I'll remember the second part in about 10 minutes.
All right. Sounds good. Well, so y'all want to
fantasy?
Do fantasy next? Okay.
Yep, that's the usual.
All right. So, are we going to cover your game, Ryan?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So let me.
We got to decide. Final standings, yeah. Me and Tyler are out of the playoffs, like everybody expected. Everybody. I expected that since like 4 or 5 weeks ago. Steven kept on nagging. He's like, "Oh, Ryan's gonna get there." I'm like, "No, I'm not, Steven. No, I'm not." And guess what? I didn't even put up 100 points against Steven last week. Like it went exactly as I expected. So yeah, no. Me and Tyler, but thankfully, Tyler did not get over 200 points above me. So Tyler got last in our league, so he's gonna have the punishment this year.
Yes, and he has decided what he's going to do. We'll save it as a surprise for the podcast whenever it comes up. But so Tyler's locked in 6th and Ryan's locked in 5th, and so
the consolation games doesn't matter at all. Really,
we're not
each other, but it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, we had already planned that ahead of time that we're not going to care about the consolation tournament, I guess. So this is the official. So Tyler's the official punishment guy, and then obviously that means Jason and I are facing off first, and then Gavin and Matthew are facing off as well with first round of playoffs. So let's look at
just a reminder for those of you who don't use the ESPN league. The ESPN leagues, they do each playoff game is 2 weeks of like IRL games. A game in the playoffs are.
Yeah.
But here we go. So right now, right now we've got as of the time that we are recording, the Bengals Vikings game is going on. So Jason's already got a couple players playing, and then I already had Eckler play on Thursday Night Football. But as of right now, this is where we stand. It's still, I guess it probably has me favored because I've got a projection of 144 versus his 134.
Scroll up a little bit.
Scroll up a little bit. Oh,
there you go. Yeah. There's the updated projections.
Oh, got it. Yeah. So I'm probably slightly favored this week, but it's going to depend especially on if Tyreek Hill actually plays this week. So it'd be a little funny if he ended up missing because he got hurt in the game where he's playing against my own team. Go figure.
And you traded half your team away to get him.
Yeah. Well, I traded a few. Yeah. But so right now, this is what our teams look like. Jason's team is fucking scary in my opinion. So I understand I'm favored in projection, but I don't feel great about it. One thing that does help, and Jason had already brought it up, is that Keenan Allen didn't get to play. He was out. So that does hurt him a little bit, but I do think Cortland Sutton will be good, and then he's still got Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb. So
yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm excited to actually play in the playoffs because I don't think I've ever really done this before. I've only played fantasy like a couple times, and then last year we did the weird backwards thing that didn't really work, so no one really gave a shit at this point in the season. And the one time I played before this, I didn't know what I was doing because this was like years ago. So
just an update on the Vikings-Bengals game because I have it on my other screen. The Bengals have lost 2 players that have had to leave the game on the card already. So
oh my god! So you're saying us all picking the Bengals was a good pick?
Yeah, they lost so far.
2 guys on defense. I don't actually know who they are. This guy's on the cart crying on the way to the locker room. So
I mean that is bad because the Bengals defense is already they're not that great, I don't think. But
no, they're like 31st or 32nd in the league.
Oh my god, I didn't know it was that bad. But yeah, that's
they're at the bottom.
All right. So, I mean, I'm hopeful that I can win this week. That's all I'll say. But at the same time,
will you win it overall?
That's
I
all that
don't know.
matters to me is getting as many points as possible. It doesn't even matter if you beat the other person, really.
Yeah.
Just get as many points as possible.
It's going to depend on the next week games, too. All right. But then the other playoff matchup is, of course, Gavin versus Matthew. And Devontae Adams put up 24 points on Thursday Night Football. So,
You would think it would have been more considering they scored 9 touchdowns.
well, I don't. Did he even get one?
Yeah, he got one.
He got one.
He got one from Jacoby Myers.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Jacoby Myers put up some good points this week too.
Yep.
But yeah. So I'm looking at this, and I mean, I'm gonna go with Gavin. I think, especially because Aaron Jones has been one of the most unreliable fantasy football players this year that I've probably ever seen. Because he's been questionable pretty much every week since the beginning, and then he gets listed as out like 5 minutes before the game on most of them. So I do expect DK Metcalf to have a big game against Philly because we've talked about it. Their secondary sucks ass. So and then Debo against Arizona probably, but I don't know. I'm still gonna say Gavin for this one, but
I mean, overall, I'm gonna say Gavin, but I'm gonna say Matthew squeaks out ahead after this week, based off the matchups. But I think Gavin is gonna wind up winning it overall.
oh, I got you. Which I think so. Going back to the standings. Okay, so yeah, Gavin is number 2 and Matthew's number 3. But it'd be crazy if I could upset you, Jason, being the 4th seed. But
We're only 2 games behind them.
Yeah, I would say you're only 2 games back, so
me at my solid 500, 7-7.
are you Matthew?
Apparently. All right, but that's it. I'm very excited. This is something I've never really done before, so I just and I'm happy that I made it in because I probably would be the same way as Ryan if I was in 5th. I just wouldn't have given a shit. I'm like, all right, I'm out. Who cares?
I am starting Blair. I'm switching around shit. Just do the highest projected, but I'm not putting much thought into it.
You're still trying.
Yeah, because I don't want to lose to Tyler. And the fact that if I lose to Tyler, I've lost to Tyler the past 2 times he's played me, so I'm tired of losing to Tyler.
Yeah,
So my team just fully imploded halfway through the season, just fully with Justin Jefferson going down. That was just the end of my team, pretty much.
Do you have Justin Jefferson playing right now?
Yep.
Okay. Well, here's his chance to maybe help you. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to picks now. All right. So before we actually do our picks, though, let's look at stats for this last week. So starting off for week 14, Gavin once again just pulling away the way things are going. Literally, Jason and I were talking about it. That what was it? The Bucks Falcons game. We were saying that he sucks but that was last week though, wasn't it? Never mind. Forget what I said. But he has started to pull away, and he's only won on the rest of us here in the middle. But he's already several games ahead. So Gavin's at 67%, 10 out of 15. We had a 3-way tie for second at 60%, 9 out of 15 with Jason, me, and Tyler. Ryan's got 40%, 6 out of 15, and then Matthew 33%, 5 out of 15. So
yeah, I just this is a time for my my woe is me type speech real quick. So yeah, the whole continuing. This has been by far probably this past month the worst month of football in my entire fucking life, just in general. Like I haven't seen Seahawks or Auburn win since I think the second week of November. I lost the last 4 games of our fantasy league. I have only beaten Matthew in picks since like a month ago. Like I've fallen off in picks too. I'm still winning in my fucking other 2 fantasy leagues, but like everything involving y'all, I have just shit the bed or something. I cursed a fucking witch or some shit. I don't know what happened, but something happened a month ago that just decided to absolutely ram me up the ass. So I don't know.
When did you buy the Kenneth Walker jersey?
That was like 2 months ago.
Okay.
So,
okay.
yeah,
So you can't blame it on that.
no, I can't do it on that. It's not that. It's just I don't know what the fuck happened. Just like a month ago or so, sometime mid-November, I did something to curse a god or some shit.
Stepped on a
And it's
crack
just-
or something.
Yeah, I just had the worst fucking month of football. It's been awful. I'm hoping. That's why I'm so worried about the fucking. We're going to the game next week, the Seahawks Titans game. I'm so worried the Titans are gonna beat us now because I'm just.
With
I
what
have
happened with the Titans Dolphins game, I just don't even know what to expect at this point. So.
I apparently this is the end of this year is just not going to be happy as in football for me at all. So I'm not expecting much.
I'm hoping that y'all tie.
Also, honestly, be fine with the tie. It's better than a fucking loss. I am also finally this past week because of the Titans upsetting the Dolphins. Can't hold over everybody's head that I had never picked the Dolphins wrong anymore because I picked them wrong last week.
Oh yeah.
So
that's over now.
That one fucking little golden nugget I had in football knowledge is just fucking gone now too. So it's like, God.
Ryan, I'll give you a hug the next time I see you.
Thanks,
okay.
Buddy. Thanks. And this week, I didn't go very exciting this week in picks because except for the Thursday game next week, I literally went with every single team that was favored in the spread. That's what I did. I'm like, fuck it. I'm tired of just getting them all wrong. I'm gonna go with the favored ones, and that's it. Except for the Seahawks game. We're not favored. I picked the Seahawks, of course. But spoiler alert.
Way to go, Ryan. You spoiled everything.
I know.
Well,
there it is.
Yeah. Obviously, he already had his whole rant, but yeah, he had to go on worst pick of the week this week.
No, I deserve that. But there, I will defend old Ryan and saying this that at the time that I picked this game, Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen weren't fucking injured.
Yes.
So
yeah,
that's part of it.
The rest of us picked the Raiders for this game, but I could have never predicted how this game would go. And immediately after the game, we were all talking about it, and it's like, yeah, Staley's gone. Like this is the final nail in the coffin. But yeah, so this is of course, Ryan, you have been a photo. What?
I love the shade that you threw on there because of that.
Oh yeah,
the whole interview that he had.
Yep.
Yeah, the famous "don't ask that question again" Staley moment. And then we've got the "you were right, we were wrong" for this week. I hate that now there has been 2 times that Tyler has been on the "you were right, we were wrong" for the Titans because the 2 times I've picked against my own team, they won. So go figure. But yeah.
Steven, you make sure to pick the Titans when they play the Seahawks, please.
I mean, I was going to for that game because I planned, I was like, there's no way I'm picking against my team to a game that I'm going to.
Yeah.
Which is why, again, that goes back to why I was so mad at Gavin for going to the Colts-Titans game when he picked the Colts. And he was like, I was rooting for the Titans. Fuck no, you weren't. Yeah, so I will be picking the Titans against the Seahawks.
Well, so don't worry, Steven. You'll have me rooting for the Seahawks on the other side. You'll have more luck on your side as well on that side.
Just an injury update for this game. Bengals offensive lineman just got hurt too.
Oh my god. Bengals are falling apart. And so because of this, bringing all that up, I decided to make a dumbest fan of the season. I have picked the Titans wrong the most out of everybody this season because I've picked them most of the time. They've lost a decent number of games, obviously. They are below 500. And the 2 times that I picked against them, they won. So I got both of those wrong, too. So I picked them wrong a total of 10 times out of, I guess, 14 weeks. 13 games, technically, because of the bye. So talk about embarrassing. But yeah, I started thinking about it. After the Titans-Dolphins game, I was like, you know what? I might have picked the Titans wrong most, so I had to go into the stats to see, and of course I was very sad to find out.
Barely ahead of Jason though.
Yeah. Well, the one thing is Jason helped by picking the Panthers against the Titans.
Yeah.
That didn't help him stay away from me on this, but maybe I can turn it around. Who knows? Just depends on how the Titans play for the rest of the season. All right, and this is our overall stats, and yeah, like Ryan said, it's been a bad month for him. He went all the way for second place, all the way to fourth now.
It's only 5 behind, so I could come back, but the way I'm going, I'm not going to come back. I'm just hoping to fucking stay above Tyler, which, you know.
Yeah, and Gavin, you know.
I don't think you're going to have a meltdown that bad.
It would take a lot.
Left. There's 4 weeks left, and he's only 13 behind me. And he beat me by fucking, 3 or 4 games this last week?
I mean, that is true. It is possible, but I don't think it'll be like that.
I don't remember. Ryan and I went through it like the other night.
Like 5 or 6 games that we picked.
Yeah. So if all those games go right for Tyler, then technically he'd be able to at least gain some ground, but not enough.
He'd be within 10 of me.
Yeah. But, you know, like I said at the beginning, Gavin's starting to try to run away with it again. He's now 5 picks over second place, which, well, especially this late in the season, unless he has like a huge meltdown too, it's going to be hard to catch Gavin. So Gavin's up at 66% overall. Jason's in second with 63. I'm a couple behind him, 62%. Ryan is down at 61%. And then Tyler's in fifth, 55%. And then Matthew is just barely over 50%. With rounding is 50%. But he's got 105 games correct, 104 games wrong. So Matthew is trying to get back to his old ways of being right at 50%. All right, y'all ready to go to games?
Yeah.
Never mind, we got the playoffs up.
Joke's on you.
Yeah, once again, I keep forgetting about this part. All right, so as of right now, the Patriots have been eliminated. So now the only teams eliminated right now are the Panthers and the Patriots, and the 49ers have clinched a playoff spot. So I
know Ryan's probably really happy about that.
It's kind of surprising. I mean, this is week 15 and there's only 2 teams truly eliminated. It feels like there were more than that last year.
That's how mid the NFL is this year.
Yeah, there's a ton of teams like right above 500.
Yeah,
for this year. So
there could be a lot more teams added to the eliminated category next week, as you'll see in the next couple slides.
Yep, we'll go ahead and move on. Who's on the chopping block? Uh-oh. I don't like what I see on this slide. Well, so you got the New York Jets, you got the Washington Commanders, the Arizona Cardinals, the LA Chargers, and of course the Tennessee Titans. So
basically, if these teams win this week, they're safe, I'm pretty sure. But if they lose, I know if the Cardinals lose and if the Commanders lose, they're out regardless. But everybody else has to lose and then have help to be eliminated. There was too many teams for me to put the scenarios in there for it this week. So,
of course,
if you want to know what it takes, just look it up on your own. There's so many different things that can happen. So,
yeah, didn't you say that? Yeah, there was some that it was so many that they didn't even list them all. They're just like, no.
Yeah, for the Chargers specifically, there is a like astronomical amount of things that have to happen for them to be eliminated, but it is possible.
All right, but here's our clinching scenarios right now. So, I'm not necessarily going to go and read all of these, but if you're listening on one of your podcast platforms, if you want to see the exact clinching scenarios for the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Lions, and the Ravens, make sure to watch this on YouTube.
Yep.
So you can see all this.
The Eagles and Cowboys are simple. If they win, they're in. I mean, but the other teams, look it up on your own or watch the video, and it's got the scenarios, some of the scenarios listed, not all of them. We didn't list all 25 scenarios for the Ravens to get in.
Plus 23 other scenarios. Holy shit. That's insane. All right. Moving on. Let's go on to the first game, which is currently going on at the time of us recording this.
And the Vikings are winning.
And the Vikings are winning, go figure. So the Vikings at the Bengals. We all picked the Bengals. it's hard to say. We weren't even sure until like this morning, I think, if Justin Jefferson was even going to play this week, which he is playing. So
He's
that
got
was
one
part of it.
reception for 17 yards so far.
He's got what? How many?
One reception for 17 yards.
Oh man, so that's what 2.7 points.
Well, in one quarter though, basically. It's like barely in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Both these teams not even playing their starting quarterbacks because they're both out for the year, and then Josh Dobbs had a bit of a meltdown for the Vikings, so they've been playing.
He's been demoted to third string
Mm.
on the Vikings now. So they're playing Nick Mullins and
Mullins,
Jaron Hall is second string.
I feel bad for Josh Dobbs. He had the chance to like be amazing. He had all the hype behind him, and then he just fucking.
He fell apart, man. I don't know what happened, but he fell apart under the pressure. I feel like he's playing for a team that's competing to get into the playoffs, and I feel like the pressure got to him.
Yeah.
He did the same thing with the Titans last year. That's all I'm saying. They signed him when Tannehill got hurt last year, and those last several games they lost when they really needed Dobbs to really take them to a. We should have gotten to the playoffs last year, but because of that huge losing streak and the Jags winning, they ended up taking it. So he's going through the same thing he went through last year with the Titans. Obviously, very different situations, but.
Also, I'm just impressed with how Jake Browning has played so far, filling in for Joe Burrow.
He has been good.
He's been playing pretty fucking good.
The only thing that I have to complain about, which obviously you probably can relate to this, Jason, in our league, because I've got Jamar Chase in my other league.
Oh yeah, he doesn't look. He does
not look for Jamar Chase. He loves throwing to his tight ends, and he loves throwing to anyone besides Jamar Chase. So that's the only bad thing with Jake Browning. But I mean, I get it. He's going to take probably the safer route because Jamar Chase is going to run the bigger routes. But
because once again, these are both teams looking to get into the playoffs. The Bengals are also in the playoff hunt right now, and they're in a position basically where all of their games are must wins because they don't own any of the tiebreakers on the teams above them. So if they lose a game, they're more than likely not going to make the playoffs, even though they're not mathematically eliminated yet.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We didn't even mention we've got a nice little weapons theme for this week.
I want to see somebody pick up a steel beam and use it as a weapon.
Just get a really small I-beam and
their fucking mascot, Steely McBeam. He fucking has the steel beam on his shoulder.
Yeah,
that's not real though.
Yeah,
Steely McBeam is so strong. Come on. All right, so we got the Steelers taking on the Colts, and this was a Colts sweep. I don't know. Does anyone know what the fuck the Steelers are? I mean, they just lost to the Patriots.
I feel like all team morale has been lost by that team, especially after losing to the Cardinals and then the Patriots back to back within a 4-day stretch. I don't know. The Colts offense is just higher powered than the Steelers offense. So even if the Steelers defense is any good, I still think the Colts are going to wind up just being able to move the ball more and get more points than the Steelers offense will.
This actually, think about it, this is a pretty big game because both teams are in the playoff picture right now. And then if the Colts win, they'll have the tiebreaker over the Steelers. So
I'm hoping for a tie, honestly. That's the best case scenario for the Broncos.
Depending on what happens with the Texans, if CJ Stroud plays or not, and then, how he looks for the rest of the season, that might be bad for the Texans if the Colts keep winning too, because the Colts are right there with them.
Yeah, there's I think there's 6 teams tied for the last 2 spots in the wild card in the AFC right now. So, and these are 2 of them right here.
Yeah. So, I mean,
we're to the point in the season where every game matters for most of the teams that are still in the hunt.
But let's go Colts. See what you got. The only thing is this is one of the Saturday games. This is the midday Saturday game today.
Yeah, this is the middle game.
This is probably the worst one in my opinion of the games, but I'll probably still watch it. Then we've got the Broncos. Yeah, this is the night game tonight. The Broncos are taking on the Lions, and we got a 3-3 split. Ryan, you're the only. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm not surprised that it's a split. I respect the guys who picked the Lions on this one.
So Ryan, you picked the Lions. What's your thought process? Just they're their favorite team.
I mean, that's once again, that's what I went with. But even without the they're favored right now. The spread is, I think, when I looked on Thursday, it was in favor of the Lions. So yeah, that's the reason I picked them. But honestly, even without that, I think I might have picked the Lions anyway because I mean, if you look back through the picks and shit throughout the season, I've been a Lions and a Bills believer. Those are the two teams that I think. I mean, yeah, they have had some fucking hiccups and shit, but they're both still really good teams, and they can show up on any game, I think. So I don't know. I'm a Lions believer. That's why.
Well,
And the spread.
I'll say my piece, and then I'll let you take off, Jason, because of course this is your own team. But the thing that made me decide to pick the Broncos here is just with the Lions, what has been happening lately. Their defense has not been very good. Their defense has been really bad. And then the other problem is Jared Goff has had a real bad issues with turning the ball over as of late. And I think with the way the Broncos have been playing so much better as the season has gone on, of course their streak did end, but they have been winning a decent bit. I just think the Broncos can take this game. I understand it's in Detroit, so that helps the Lions too. But that's what I'm looking at. Is I think if Goff has probably a better chance of turning the ball over with the way he's been playing as of late, and then I just think the Broncos are going to be able to beat up that Lions defense. So,
well, I'm pretty worried about this game, to be completely honest, because the Lions offense is just, they can be so explosive with their running backs with Gibbs and Montgomery. They could take off at any fucking point in time and go for 75 yards. And then, I mean, obviously they have Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds that they can throw to. Like you said, Goff has had a lot of issues lately turning the ball over, and obviously a big part of the Broncos winning 6 of their last 7 games has been getting turnovers on defense. So if Goff shows up and he's having some issues, this game could easily go towards the Broncos. But if he shows up and is actually throwing to his own team, then this game could get out of hand really fast, I think, because our offense sucks. I'm going to be honest. The only bright spot in our offense right now is Courtland Sutton. He's making these spectacular catches every week, getting a touchdown, seems like. So that's our only bright spot on offense right now. I feel like our offensive line plays good, and other than that, I have nothing to talk about for the offense.
Yeah, I'll say, I picked the Chargers to beat the Broncos last week, and then because I was expecting like somebody like Eckler to have a big game because y'all's rushing defense has not been very good this year. So I could see Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery having a big week. So that's another good thing I didn't really think about enough for this week. But
like I said, I can't say it's a bad pick for the guys who picked the Lions.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think it's a bad pick.
Either way. This game could turn on a dime. Like either of these teams can run away with it, I feel like. So,
but I think this is the best game of the Saturday games out of the 3.
I agree, and that I feel like I would say that even if they weren't my favorite team, I feel like I'd still say it.
It also
this is a good matchup.
It's 2 starting quarterbacks against each other.
Yeah, that's a rarity at this point in the season.
Yeah, it really is. I think the last thing that I have on this is just we have a linebacker out, Nick Benito's out, so I'm worried about how well we're going to be able to blitz. Because Goff has been really bad against the blitz in the last like 6 weeks or something like that, I think I saw. And so if we're not able to get to him, we might be screwed. So, and if there's a game for us to lose for the rest of the season, this is it, because the Lions are in the NFC, so it doesn't affect our conference record trying to get into the playoffs. So,
Broncos, let's ride, baby. Let's ride. All right, the next game. This one is gross. We've got the Giants taking on the Saints. All of us on the podcast picked the Saints, and then the only people that picked the Giants was Tyler and Gavin. I wasn't surprised by Tyler picking the Giants. I was very surprised about Gavin. So I'd love to hear their thought process. But
I'll be honest, I'm still on the fence about picking the Giants on this game. The Saints have been unimpressive recently, and the Giants have been very impressive recently, considering who they have starting at quarterback with Tommy DeVito. He's an undrafted free agent. I mean,
the Saints' offense isn't very good. I will say that. They've been very inconsistent. It's been pretty much running all the way through Alvin Kamara and maybe a little bit Chris Olave. They've been having their quarterback struggles, but the thing about it is it just depends on which Saints defense shows up each week. Because the Saints defense, they've been able to put up some serious fantasy points every week, and then the next week they'll put up like -1 point. So the Saints have been so they're probably one of the most inconsistent teams this year.
The thing I worry about, and I looked at this when I was making my picks, and it almost made me pick the Giants straight up. The Saints defense has given up 27, 24, 28, and then 6 against the Panthers in the last month. So their defense, other than against the Panthers, has not been great.
Yeah. They're not good at stopping the points, which of course is the biggest point, but then they are good at getting turnovers and stuff. So it's just they're just super inconsistent. Super inconsistent.
I'm gonna stick with the Saints, but I could definitely see the Giants pulling this one out. And it's crazy to think how the Giants started the season, and they're not one of the teams on the chopping block for the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
They can make the playoffs. Yeah, they absolutely can. That's ridiculous. Just think if they had maybe actually played DeVito from the beginning instead of Daniel Jones.
I mean, they would probably only have like 1, maybe 2 more wins than they have, but yes, it would completely change where they are in the playoffs. They would actually probably be like 1 game out of the playoffs or tied for the final spot of the wild card.
A couple more wins would make a big difference right now with the way things are, especially over the NFC side. You got the top dogs and then just a bunch of mediocre teams on the NFC side. So,
yep.
All right.
I think the Giants' fairy tale redemption arc ends here, honestly.
Okay.
Possible.
All right. Next up, we've got, this is kind of an interesting one, and I'm very surprised this was a sweep. You got the Bears taking on the Browns, and we all picked Browns. So, what do y'all got about this game?
I mean,
Browns defense is elite, and the Bears don't really have a super well put together offense. So,
it's basically Justin Fields running and DJ Moore to throw to. That's pretty much what they got right now.
I don't think the Bears are going to score more than 10 points, honestly.
I mean, Browns defense is really good. That's what made me pick the Browns for this game, was that their defense is good, especially at home. They have faltered for the last month or so, though, and have started giving up more points each week, it feels like. So I would worry a little bit about this game if I was the Browns, but let's be honest, Justin Fields is going to wind up turning the ball over a couple times probably. So that's why I'm going to stick with the Browns.
Yeah, I feel the same way. This is the biggest problem with fantasy for me right now, because I want to play DJ Moore because he has been pretty solid for me the last month or so. But this is a tough matchup for DJ Moore. He's going to have a hell of a secondary that he's going up against right now. And then if Justin Fields tries to force too much to DJ Moore, then we could have a turnover issue. So, that being said, the Bears have been just so inconsistent too this year. There's a lot of inconsistent teams, but
I mean they are coming off a win against the Lions. Actually, they're on a 2-game win streak right now. The first one they've had all season. So, I mean, they could make it 3.
It's time of the redemption right now. You know, all these bad teams are redeeming themselves towards the end.
Yeah, I mean,
all the good teams are falling off.
Actually, I mean, they've won 3 of their last 4, and the one game that they lost was by 5 points to the Lions. So, I mean, they have really actually turned it around the last month. So, they may keep it close.
All right, moving on. We've got the Falcons taking on the Panthers. No surprise here. This was a Falcons sweep. it's hard to pick the Panthers at all for the rest of the year at this point. They're just so bad this year.
They
This might be the worst game of the week.
Yeah, they were selling. Jason was telling us they were selling tickets to this game for 49 cents. So
yeah, 2 quarters would get you into this game.
That's crazy.
Where would you be sitting? Like behind a fucking pillar somewhere? Like there's no way.
Probably,
no way
probably at the very outer rim or some shit.
Yeah,
But
like way up here. Somewhere.
Less than $1 for a ticket. I mean,
up at the top.
I would pay 45 cents to go and sit at the top.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're making the trip. We're making the trip to Charlotte.
I said if it was in Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz, I full on would have done it. Honestly, probably just gone over to Atlanta for the day.
Yeah,
I would have done it. I don't have anything to say about this game though. This game I have no interest in this game whatsoever.
One thing I'll say is it seems like Arthur Smith has finally learned that he has good players on his team and has started using them. So it took a little bit too long for him to start doing that, but is he still playing Desmond Ridder at quarterback again?
He's playing him for the rest of the season.
See, yeah, that's not great, but
I mean, it's crazy that the winner of their division is probably going to have a losing record.
Yeah, well, for
the second year in a row.
So right now it's the Bucks again that are leading the division, right? Because the Bucks just beat the Falcons this last week.
Yeah, I think so, and they're 6-7.
Yeah, that's
so are the Falcons and so are the Saints. So
it's funny that one of these teams is going to get the 4th seed, and like a team like the Cowboys or the Eagles is probably getting the 5th seed. So it looks like they're better.
I wish you were in the NFC South.
You'd be tied for the division lead.
Mm-hmm. We'd be probably better because we wouldn't have played the 49ers twice and the Rams twice.
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
I feel like the Seahawks this year could have beaten probably all the NFC South teams.
I would think so, yeah. I definitely think so. All right. Let's move on. We just got all sorts of sweeps this week. Mm-hmm. We got the Buccaneers taking on the Packers. And everyone picked the Packers.
Speaking of the NFC South being trash. Another sweep against them.
I'm a little less confident picking the Packers after they lost to the Giants on Monday Night Football, but I can't not pick them against the Buccaneers.
I mean, just think the Buccaneers are going to be tired from walking all the way from Tampa to Green Bay, so it's a long trek.
It's a long walk, yeah.
It's a long walk, so they're going to be tired.
Can I just say I'm not taking too much into consideration for what happened last week. Especially, like, I know that the Packers just lost to the Giants, and that was like, whoa, what just happened? But it just seemed like, I mean, if you look at most of the games last week, there were just so many upsets. I think it was just an anomaly of a week. So I think the Packers bounced back from it.
But is it really an anomaly of a week when we've had this happen 3 or 4 times this year now?
Yeah, I guess that's true. There's been a lot of upset weeks. But, I mean, even still, like, look at our overall record this week as far as picks go. Like, that shows it because we didn't do very well once again because I think most of the time we go for the favored team. And obviously, Ryan this week completely did the favored teams.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Packers bounce back. Go Pack, go. Good luck with you. All right. We got the next game. We got the Jets taking on the Dolphins. This was a Dolphins sweep, except for old Tyler over there.
He definitely just picked the Jets despite the Dolphins because the Titans just beat them. There's no way that's not the reason.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There's no way he actually thinks the Jets are the better team.
The only thing we have to give credit to the Jets for, we have to give them their flowers. They are very good. They're a very good defense. They still are a very good defense. I could see. I mean, Sauce Gardner is going to be covering Tyreek Hill the whole game if Tyreek Hill plays.
Maybe, yeah. Or
so
he's covering Jalen Waddle.
That's true too. But I will say, we saw what Tua looked like without Tyreek Hill, and that is very concerning for them. I don't think they're going to lose this week, but it's depending on, I don't know what all their final matchups are, but they may be in trouble. They may be in trouble.
They've got a tough schedule. I will say Zach Wilson looked really good last week against the Texans. I mean, he was the offensive player of the week. So, I mean, if he still looks good, they could probably keep it semi-close. But I don't think that the Dolphins are going to lose back-to-back games.
They're going to play angry.
They might.
They're hearing probably all over social media how they're frauds and shit because they lost to the Titans last week, and so they want to prove.
Which is a good reason to call them a fraud. You just lost to literally the second worst team in the AFC right now.
I so wish Gavin was on today because of his. I mean, if y'all didn't see the podcast last week, Gavin had his long sad speech about how he saw the Dolphins lose to the Titans in Nissan Stadium, and his dad and brother were like hounding him because they're Titans fans about the Dolphins losing. And he was like, I can't wait for the Dolphins to wipe the floor with the Titans this week and get back at my dad and brother. And they fucking lose again to the fucking Titans.
Literally. The Dolphins' kryptonite is teams with a winning record and the Titans.
Apparently. Because, yeah, I mean, obviously, we talked about it. I was at that game where the Titans were going for the 1 seed and ended up beating the Dolphins, and that was a crazy game. And apparently, I guess the Titans are the Dolphins' kryptonite. I don't know. It's
fucking hilarious, dude.
I decided I didn't want to be that guy. I was thinking about Gavin that night after the game was over. I'm like, oh my God, he's probably miserable right now. Mm-hmm. And I know my brain was thinking, if I was like Matthew, I would be such an asshole right now. Like,
to be fair, if Gavin had been Dolphins won, Gavin would have been an asshole to you and Tyler 100%.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
But so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna leave him alone. Yep. I'm not typically a big trash talking kind of person anyway. So I was just like, and it was crazy. That was a crazy upset, and the Titans did try to give it away, but we're not even talking about this game at this point, so sorry.
It's crazy that the Dolphins couldn't beat. They can't beat teams with a winning record, and they also just can't beat teams with a losing record now either.
Yeah. Yep. I'm telling you, it got exposed because when Tyreek Hill got hurt, that entire team looked so different. So
and seriously, it was the fucking. They should have lost that game. It was just like I don't know what happened because. The Titans, that was their first road win the Titans have had in over a fucking year, and against the Dolphins this year.
You're right, seed.
Steven. The Titans just win games they have no fucking business of winning at all.
I've talked about it so many times. They lose games that they should absolutely win, which is why I was so worried about that Titans-Panthers game. Mm-hmm. And then, I completely wrote this game off as like, no, there's no chance. But anyway, let's move on. I do think the Jets can win if Tyreek Hill doesn't play because we saw what the Dolphins look like. But other than that, if he's playing, I think the Dolphins take this. All right, moving on. We got the Chiefs taking on the Patriots. I can't wait to hear this. So everybody picked the Chiefs except for Gavin and Jason. Jason, let's hear it, buddy. What's your thought process here?
Okay, first of all, are you really going to question the top 2 people in picks this year going with the Patriots?
No, in fact, it makes me concerned. It makes me concerned that I'm missing something here.
No, I'm not concerned.
I think what you're missing is that the Chiefs are not the Chiefs that you think that they are.
I never said that the Chiefs are that good this year.
Yeah, but the Patriots
suck.
Yeah, the Patriots are what we think they are. Absolute shit. So
the Chiefs are without Isaiah Pacheco again. He's out. They're also without their starting left tackle this week. So the Patriots have one of the best rush defenses this year. Regardless of their record, their rush defense is amazing.
Yeah, their defense is good. That's true. We know that. And that's the Belichick method right there. They have good defense. But
I think the Chiefs are going to falter, and let's see. There's remaining schedule at the Patriots this week versus the Raiders versus the Bengals at the Chargers. I think they're going to falter, lose 3 games in a row to the Packers, the Bills, and the Patriots, and then rebound with 3 games at the end and win all those games to finish out with what would their record be at that point? 11-6. Barely beat us for the division title. I'm not expecting us to win it. I also think Bill Belichick is going to coach his hard out to try and remain the coach at the Patriots next year, to try and change Robert Kraft's mind and keep him as the head coach. And if he can beat the Patriots, it might be enough to save his job, honestly.
At the end of the day, it's fucking Patrick Mahomes versus Bailey Zappi.
Okay.
I mean, it's like
it doesn't matter when Patrick Mahomes has nobody to throw the ball to.
Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the fucking league.
Not this year.
That's well, I mean, he's still. I mean, he's up there, isn't he?
I mean,
I think he's like number 2 in fantasy.
Yeah.
Number 2 or 3.
So sorry, he's not number 1 in fantasy, but he's still like the best.
No, T.J. Hawkins is number 1, I believe. So
yeah.
Or actually, he's probably like 3 because I think Sam Laporta might be 2. But I'll say I've picked the Patriots a good bit this year, and it has done nothing but burn me. There's a couple games I'm like, you know what, this is a Patriots upset game, and then they never end up winning. So I'm just not gonna touch the Patriots for the rest of the year. So this isn't necessarily a Chiefs versus Patriots thing. It's more just like we said, the Patriots just aren't good. I do think they're rolling with Zappi at this point because he has looked so much better than Mac Jones was looking, but
which isn't very hard to do. Let's be honest.
It's not. It's not. Mac Jones has been awful this year, but I respect it.
I do want to know what Gavin's reasoning was for picking the Patriots as well. I thought for sure I was going to be by myself on it.
I did too. When I was filling everything in, I had already made your head big. And then I had to downsize you because I was like, "Oh, Gavin also picked the Patriots."
I don't know. I just I don't see. I mean, it's the Chiefs definitely aren't where they fucking have been in the past few years, but the Patriots are just like bottom 3 teams in the league. I think.
I will say though, if the Chiefs end up losing this game, that would be so fucking.
Oh, it's
funny.
fucking.
That would be so funny.
It'd be funny, but I also fucking hate the Patriots, so I'd honestly rather the Chiefs win.
I would much rather the Patriots win.
That makes sense. Chiefs are your divisional rival. They're not mine. So
if the Patriots win, just imagine what Mahomes will be like because he just had a meltdown this last week.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
that'll be insane. All right, let's move on. This one actually originally wasn't a sweep until I gave Matthew the news before we started the podcast that C.J. Stroud is doubtful to play this week. We got the Texans taking on the Titans, and it's Houston Oilers throwback uniforms again for the Titans as a real fuck you to the Houston Texans, really. But it's a sweep for the Titans. I'll let you guys go first.
It's the Texans are riddled with injuries.
Yeah, we were talking about it. The depth chart looks awful. They got IR across the board. They lost all their receivers.
They have like you said, Stroud is doubtful. Noah Brown is questionable. Nico Collins is questionable. Both of their right side offensive linemen are questionable. Will Anderson is out. Blake Cashman is out. They still don't have a kicker. He's still on IR. Obviously, they don't have Tank Dell for the rest of the season after he got hurt. And the Titans are coming off of a huge win against the Dolphins, so I think they have so much momentum just from that win alone that it would, whoever the Texans decided to start at quarterback.
It'll probably be Davis Mills, I think.
The Texans have been really good this year, but this isn't the Texans this week.
No, it is
not the Texans.
This is literally just a different team with all this. And then we got to remember that the very first game that Will Levis played was in the Houston Oilers throwbacks against the Falcons, and he played out of his mind. So I think that's going to be a morale booster again. I kind of wish I was going to this game. I wanted to go to one of the Oilers throwbacks, and I chose to do the Falcons instead. But, I'm excited to watch this game.
The Seahawks won with me, buddy.
Well, yeah. They'll just be in their usual uniforms for that one. So
you can wear your Oilers throwback if you want to.
I could, but I'm probably going to wear my Jeffrey Simmons jersey if he's back. So, but yeah, I like the Titans' chances here. I obviously I don't think. I mean, we can be honest here. They're literally on the chopping block this week if they lose. I don't think the Titans make it into the playoffs, but I'm fine with them winning a bunch of games just to build up Will Levis's confidence and stuff. So I'm willing to give up a super high draft pick just to show that he is our guy. Because especially, he made a lot of mistakes in that Dolphins game, but the way that he bounced back and took them to a comeback victory that we have not really seen before. There was a crazy stat they kept talking about that there was like 767 games.
Yeah, no,
since.
you say we hadn't really seen it before. We've never seen it before, ever. It's never happened to come back from that far down and not have to win in overtime.
Yeah. So craziest comeback, and that just makes me think that y'all know this. We talked about it a lot. Tyler and I were not happy with the pick. We didn't want Will Levis, but after what we've seen, I am forever grateful that Rand Carthon, our GM, decided to go for Will Levis because he has been awesome. And he's got that fire in him that just gets you really excited to watch him play.
Also, Steven, how does it make you feel to know that if y'all win this game and the Jaguars lose this week, which is very possible because they play the Ravens, y'all are only 2 games back of the division lead?
I mean, that's crazy, but I mean,
you got 3 games left after this week. That's all I'm saying. It's possible.
And if the Colts lose this week, that would help us
regardless,
too.
Regardless of if the Colts win or lose, and obviously if y'all beat the Texans, you're still only 2 games back of the division regardless, because the Colts have 7 wins right now.
Yeah.
So
they also have a huge. I mean, they beat us twice, so they have a huge tiebreaker over us. But I mean, I would be excited to see somehow, some way they bullshit their way into the playoffs. But at the same time, I don't expect them to play well in the playoffs. Let's be honest. So. I don't know.
It's definitely a thing where if y'all do, I mean, I know it's for a certain you're eliminated, but if you lose this game, y'all have no business being in the playoffs at all.
Oh no, yeah. If we lose this game, that's really bad. With the Texans being, this is going to be like old school shitty Texans, unless somehow D'Amico Ryans can somehow rally this team.
That would be such a tight thing to do, though. Go from Hard Rock and getting your first road win over a year against a fucking like number 1 AFC seed, to then losing to not like the backup Texans, basically.
Telling you,
at home next week.
It is so awful and stressful being a Titans fan sometimes because you just never know what team's going to show up.
Don't worry, I fully relate with being an Auburn fan. So
yeah,
the Titans' path to getting eliminated is really easy. If you lose and the Colts, Steelers, Bengals, or Broncos win, you're out. So win and you're in for another week.
Let's go. Tighten up, baby. All right. Next up, we've got the Chiefs. Or not Chiefs. Why did I just say that? I need to go to bed. We got the 49ers.
It's taking 2 red teams, I'll give you that.
This is like, I still always, anytime we have Broncos or the Browns come up, I have to be very careful because I kept calling the Browns Broncos and Broncos Browns earlier this season. So anyway, now I found a new one that's apparently the 49ers and the Chiefs. Anyway, we got the 49ers taking on the Cardinals, and this was an easy 49ers sweep, obviously.
Cardinals keep it closer than you think.
Well,
it is a division rivalry,
I mean, the Cardinals have looked better since Kyler Murray came back, I guess. But I don't know. The 49ers are back to, they obviously had that like 3-game losing streak that was really bad, but they're back to their like unstoppable ways right now.
Such a better time. Remember that back then the Seahawks were winning too? Auburn had won a few games. It was great back then.
Yeah. You need to take a minute, Ryan, and just think about life back then. Yeah, I don't have really anything to say about this. I mean, I'm expecting Deebo Samuel to have another big game. Deebo Samuel has been on fire as of late. So the Cardinals are not good against wide receivers, and we're going to see what Deebo can do. All right. Next up, another sweep. Yeah, this one's interesting. We got the Commanders taking on the Rams, and this was an easy Rams sweep. None of us like the commies, obviously.
The old commies.
The Rams offense is just too good for the Commanders to keep up with.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have so many weapons. The Rams defense isn't that good, but the Commanders offense isn't that good, so that kind of balances it out. I think Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are going to have a fucking field day in this game.
I just really hope it's Kyron Williams. That's what I really want.
I really hope that it's anybody but Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
I hope it's Puka Nacua. I think I have him starting.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If it's Puka Nacua, I'm okay with it.
I love what I've been seeing out of Puka Nacua this year. He's been very fun to watch. All right. But yeah, I don't even really have anything to say other than what you already said. The Rams offense is really good. They could have beaten the Ravens last week, which was crazy. But of course they didn't. Then we got the Cowboys taking on the Bills. Everybody went Cowboys except for Gavin and Ryan, who picked the Bills.
And we already know why.
Yeah, because the Bills are favored, right, Ryan?
That's why they're favored. But once again, another type of thing where even though the Bills are favored, yes, I probably would have picked the Bills anyway because I'm a Bills believer. And Buffalo, much colder than Dallas.
That is true. Next year I'm gonna do like a weather forecast theme on every slide.
I might do it if I do once again really shit this week. I might the rest of the year just go based off of what's the more difficult climate of the fucking transition between the two teams, just for fuck's sake, you know.
That's funny. But so you got any other reasons you want to bring up?
I mean, the Bills I believe in Josh Allen. I believe, and they got a good ass team when they want to be. And the Cowboys, yeah, I mean, they got a good ass offense recently, but
I
don't know.
I think Josh Allen's going to get confused on what team is his because they're going to be wearing similar jerseys, and he's going to want to throw in 2 or 3 picks. Because he turns the ball over a fuck ton anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Deron Bland is licking his lips thinking about this game right now.
Yeah.
He's like, ooh, interceptions time.
Yeah, Josh Allen's going to be thinking that Deron Bland is Stephon Diggs. So, I don't know. Dallas looks scary right now. I mean, they just decimated the Eagles last week. Like, what, 33-13 or something like that?
Yeah, it was a good bit.
I mean, they made the Eagles look like a high school team for a while. I mean, eventually the Eagles, they got on the board and made it look a little bit better. But I don't know, man. They look so good. Their defense is crazy, and Dak and CeeDee Lamb are just on another level right now.
I will say, if the Cowboys lose this game, people are going to say, oh, that's the classic Cowboys thing. Everyone starts hyping them up, and then they fucking choke. So that's what I can see happening if the Bills end up winning. Obviously, I'm picking the Cowboys. It's hard not to pick the Cowboys right now with how hot they have been. So,
you say their defense is amazing. I mean, once again, I bring this up again, but fucking Seahawks put 35 points up against them. Like that.
Every team will have a game that they give up a lot of points, though, regardless how good your defense is.
That's not the only time that they've given up a lot of points.
Okay. When was the other time?
I'm just saying that's probably not the only time. They've lost a handful of games, haven't they?
They've given up 0, 10, 16, 3, 10, 17, 20, 23, 17, 10, 10, 35, 13.
That's a lot of points right there.
The biggest problem, and we've talked about it before, Deron Bland is great at getting interceptions, but he's not good at just basic coverage. So that's why I could see. I mean, he's going to be probably covering Stephon Diggs. If Josh Allen throws the ball well to Stephon Diggs, then Deron Bland could struggle, and that was the biggest reason that DK Metcalf ran all over Deron Bland.
Jason, I was like, how you just didn't include the fact that earlier this season they gave up 28 and fucking 42 points in games.
That's the preseason.
No, it's not. That is this regular season. They lost to the 49ers 42-10. They lost to the Eagles 28-20.
Oh, sorry. I was just going based on. I was reading just the numbers on the right. That's my bad. Sorry.
Okay, about to say, I was like, there's been several games where they've gotten a lot of points scored against them.
My bad. Yeah, I was just reading the numbers on the right,
just
out of habit because that's where most of their points given up are. But regardless,
Yes, that's
the
four
Bills.
solid games where they've allowed more than fucking 4 touchdowns worth of points.
Also, I want to say, we've got to give Dak some major credit. He, beginning of the season, he said that he's not going to have more than 10 interceptions this year, and we all said that he would have that by like week 4. He's got 6 this year, and that's it so far. He's only got 4 games left. So,
and that's another thing we got to bring up too is Dak early on in the season wasn't really doing anything impressive. As of late, though, he has been on fire, though, and that's been what has made the Cowboys just be on fire as of late. It's just their offense is just firing all cylinders because Dak is playing like MVP level. I think Dak will win MVP now if he can keep this
If they
up.
can finish it out, they got a hard rest of their schedule.
I say they have to finish 14-3 for him to win MVP.
Yeah,
I think if they lose one game, regardless if he plays good or not, they're not going to vote him MVP because he plays for the Cowboys. No one likes the Cowboys, so they're not going to vote for somebody on the Cowboys for MVP.
They got the Bills this week, and the Dolphins, and then the Lions for the next 3 weeks. So they don't have a schedule. So, and the last game is against the Commanders, but
But I will say, I mean, this should be a decent game to watch. I would think it just depends on which Bills team shows up because they've been having problems with that too. But all right, moving on, we got the Ravens taking on the Jaguars. Go Ravens! Go Ravens! Please.
It's just hard not to pick the Ravens right now. I mean, it's been hard not to pick them all season, pretty much. They've just been one of those teams.
Yeah, the Ravens at the Jaguars. The Ravens are I'm sure. What are the Ravens favored?
3.5.
Even though they're 3.5, and they're playing away. Like the Ravens have been just awesome this year. They of course have the 1 seed. They're going to want to lock up that 1 seed, and then obviously they'll have to probably. Don't the Ravens still have to play the Dolphins too?
Let's see. The Ravens' remaining schedule is at the 49ers next week.
Oh, gross.
Versus the Dolphins versus the Steelers. So
yeah, so that Dolphins game may really matter because then it'll be possibly a tiebreaker.
What a fucking Christmas treat that is! A Christmas night at 7:15 is Ravens at 49ers.
Jeez. That could be a potential Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say about this one is Ravens' defense has been amazing, and then Lamar Jackson has been playing pretty solid. So this was easy. The Jags have been decent this year, but I don't know how Trevor Lawrence is going to be. He's still trying to get over that injury. He did play last week, and he played okay. But I don't know if he
didn't look great.
Yeah.
He threw 3 interceptions last week against the Browns.
I don't remember, but I mean it was the Browns to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't not pick the Ravens right now. That might change next week with them playing the 49ers. I haven't decided that obviously, but up until this point, it's been hard not to pick them.
You got anything to add, Ryan?
No, I mean the Ravens are going to wipe the floor with the Jags.
I sure hope so. Fuck the Jags.
I wouldn't go that far, but
all right. And then Monday Night Football, we've got the Eagles taking on the Seahawks. So most everybody went with the Eagles except for Jason and Ryan, who went with the Seahawks.
I was crazy that I went with the Seahawks.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Very surprising.
This is the first game.
You made to go first, Ryan, since it's your team. You can have the floor after.
Let's hear it, Jason.
The biggest thing for me is that Darius Slay is out for this game. So the best player in the Eagles secondary is not going to be playing against JSN, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jake Bobo, Noah Fant. I mean, that's at least 5 good weapons that Geno Smith can throw to. Kevin Byard has not been playing great since he got traded to the Eagles. He's been playing bad, honestly. And I mean the Eagles are coming off being embarrassed by the Cowboys. So and it's in Seattle. So it's kind of like a perfect storm, like this picture for the background.
The apocalypse.
We still have the coolest stadium picture that Steven picked. Thank you, Steven.
You're welcome.
I don't know, I think the Seahawks are going to wind up pulling this out. I think the Eagles are going to falter. They seem to, when they falter for one game, it seems to expand to 2 games where they look bad. And if they look bad against the Seahawks are going to take advantage of it and pull it out.
Yeah, it seems like when the Eagles lose, they lose bad too. Like they lose by like at least a couple of scores.
Yeah.
And I will say, I mean, we were starting to talk about it before we started the podcast, and I said we'll hold off. I knew that was probably 90% of your reason, Jason, was because the Eagles secondary sucks this year. And that was the whole reason they went for Kevin Byard. Now, the only problem is Byard, even when he was playing for the Titans this year, wasn't really doing that good. He didn't have a single interception. The thing about him is that he was more just like their leader. He was like the leader of the secondary, and he probably doesn't have that same dynamic at the Eagles. So he's back to just basically just a player in the secondary, and he just hasn't been very impressive.
He might be the leader this week with Darius Slay being out, but when Darius Slay is in, he is the leader on that defense.
He is that guy, yeah. So I do agree that I do expect the wide receivers for the Seahawks to have a pretty big game. I'm expecting something similar to how the Cowboys-Seahawks game went, where the Seahawks, even if they end up losing, DK Metcalf is probably going to kick ass in fantasy this week. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I don't know. This one I did struggle with, but I decided to go with the Eagles because the Eagles are still kind of, I mean, obviously they just got embarrassed, but they are still a hot team in the NFL, and they're going to be trying to push for the playoffs still. All right. Let's move on.
Let's hear it.
Okay. My bad. I forgot. I thought you started, but then Jason was like, "Let me go first." Yeah, go ahead, Ryan. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're on a 4-game losing streak right now. So this is probably the biggest chance I think we have is this week out of this 5 also stretch. Obviously we play the Titans next week, so hopefully we can fucking beat them. But I'm hoping to break the fucking losing streak right now. Because we go back to 500. I think we'll go back to 500 if we win here. I mean, just comparison on the Cowboys team. We both played the Cowboys in the past 2 weeks, both these teams. We lost 35-41. They lost 13-33. So, like, our offense looked a lot better against the Cowboys. Obviously, their defense technically held the Cowboys to, like, fucking 8 more points less. But I don't know. Just that gives me some false confidence because we did better against the Cowboys than the Eagles did. And it's also in Seattle, which we have one of the best home advantages in, like, the league. And, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping our offense just shows up. I think it's going to be a shootout. I don't think thankfully, the Eagles have A.J. Brown, obviously, as receiver. Well, who are the other, like, receivers? Who's their, like, WR2?
Smith.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he's pretty decent. But at least we can have, like, Devin Witherspoon on A.J. Brown, who hopefully can do well. Because our secondary isn't the best. But we got Devin Witherspoon, who's great. So
I don't know what happened to Reek Woolen this year. He hasn't been having a good year.
He's just been having a down year. I think he'll rebound next year.
Yeah, I still have confidence in him. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's also when it comes to a lot of Seahawks games, it's what Geno Smith shows up. A lot of these teams, it's like what defense shows up, and for us, it's what quarterback shows up because Geno can be fucking elite level, like Pro Bowl last year. I mean, he was in the top for like MVP last year. I'm pretty sure for a little bit. Like he can fucking ball out. If he wants to, but sometimes he just reverts back to the classic Geno Smith everybody knows from the previous years in the past. So.
Yeah, I think last year he had the highest completion percentage out of all the quarterbacks.
He was on the Pro Bowl. It was his first Pro Bowl in the league last year. I just saw on Twitter today. It was like retweet to vote Geno Smith back to the Pro Bowl this year, and I was like, I don't really know if he deserves it this year. I'm being honest, but
I also want to like take comparison that the Seahawks played better against the 49ers than the Eagles did with Drew Lock at quarterback instead of Geno Smith.
Yeah, but that's also division, like our biggest rivalry, so I'm not going to count that as much.
but it was with Drew Lock was the thing.
Yeah.
If it had been with Geno Smith, I wouldn't have even brought it up, but it was with Drew Lock at quarterback. So I feel like I had to bring it up that they at least kept it close. As compared to the Eagles did not keep it close.
That was in Levi too.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like everything is kind of given the momentum to the Seahawks, even though they've lost their last 4 games. I feel like the momentum is to the Seahawks for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. I'm hoping we do well. I don't know. I have slight hope. I'm glad it's prime time, I guess, because I get to watch them. But like, if I have to watch us lose again, this is not going to help my mood this month at all. So,
hey, Christmas is coming up in 9 days, so that's something to look
but
forward
the thing
to.
is, Christmas coming up in 9 days, yes, but it could be preceded the day before Christmas. Me potentially watching the Seahawks lose to the Titans in person. So
and the day after is Christmas.
Yeah, but then I'm like fucking. I don't know. Yeah,
he's gonna be the biggest Scrooge of all time on Christmas Day.
Yeah, we'll see. It could either be an amazing Christmas or it could be a real shit Christmas. We'll find out. Nah, I'm not gonna base my Christmas happiness on just a football game.
I will say I'm dreading that drive home from the Titans Seahawks game because unless it's a tie, like Jason said, one of us is gonna be miserable on the ride home.
Yeah, but I mean, you know me. With comes to like Seahawks and shit, I'm not gonna be gloaty if like we fucking win, and I'm not gonna like. I might be a little sad if we lose, but I'm not gonna be. I'm gloaty when it comes to like video games and shit. Not when it comes to like the Seahawks that much, really.
No, it's just more of, you know, if we go to the game and the Seahawks lose, you'll be sad. If the Titans lose, that'll be the first time I've ever seen them lose in person, so I'll be sad for that reason.
Same, actually. Same time I've seen the Titans lose in person, too, if they lose. So I went to that Broncos game last year, and won. So
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got false hope. I'd say it's false hope. I mean, there's a chance. I think out of our big 5 or our 4 game in a row awful stretch, I think this is the biggest chance we have to win. So we'll see.
Right. Next up, we've got Thursday Night Football. It's the last game we're covering this week. Thursday Night Football, we've got the Saints taking on the Rams. Everyone went Rams except for Ryan, who went Saints.
Yeah,
big Saints fan over here.
Steven, did you forget to change the color of the box?
Yep, I sure did.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
it's
the
Maroon Saints this year.
Yeah, it's the Maroon Saints.
This is obviously next Thursday, so I wasn't the spread. I don't know if you even know if it's out yet or not, but I didn't look at the spread for this week because it's Thursday Night Football of next week. So this one I kind of just went fuck it and picked the Saints.
I will tell you the Rams are going to be favored.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. I just kind of went fuck it on this one because I was like, I went boring every one of my other picks, so I'm gonna just say fuck it for this one and pick the upset.
Throw in a little bit of spice at the end.
Exactly. That's literally all I did for this one. And I'm a Saints. I mean, obviously, fuck the Rams. I like the Saints. So,
my reason for picking the Rams is basically the same as the game before this. So that I picked them. Their offense is just better. I think they're going to wind up running over the Saints defense.
And but the thing is, the Saints defense is going to show up. It's going to be the elite Saints defense. It's going to stifle that fucking Rams offense. It's going to be another 3-0 game.
I mean,
Matthew Stafford's going to throw like 6 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
God.
All right, I like it. Anyway, let's go back to
that was the last one. So
yeah, let me go back to our stats overall. So this is where we stand at the moment. There we go.
I picked in the minority like the most this week, I'm pretty sure. So if it goes the wrong way for me, the two of you could catch me this week.
We say that every week, but then nothing actually really happens. I mean, except for last week where I did absolute shit.
Yeah, I mean, typically about half of them go the way you expect them to go, and then, that's why it keeps everything similar.
This is the week where I get every game right.
Let's get. This is the week where I can't wait to get every game wrong, even though I literally just. Then it's not me that picked wrong. It's just the fucking experts, quote unquote experts of football who.
Vegas got it wrong.
Yeah, can't wait to let that happen. So if I do well next week, Vegas is very happy. If I don't, then gonna be a lot of people winning money. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how that betting shit works. I'm gonna be honest.
We know you don't.
Mhm.
It's okay.
Not really a better.
All right. Well, one last look at the stats overall. That's what we got. So yeah, obviously 2, 3, and 4 has just been a battle all season. It really has.
I'm shooting for that podium. I'm getting back on the podium. That's my goal for the season, is to get a podium spot. So
This is about the most spread out that 2nd through 4th has been all season.
yep.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 games.
It's
That's
just
all it
due to
is.
one fucking week, like, because I just got 3 or 4 games less than y'all this past week. So
We'll see
All
how
right.
it shakes out at the end of the year.
yeah,
All right. Well, y'all ready to call it a podcast?
yeah.
Yep, this has been a podcast.
Ryan, take us out, buddy.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this very nice and cheery version of Always Out of Market podcast. I know I've been a ray of sunshine this whole time, so I appreciate you hanging out. We hope you subscribe and follow us, and just give us your love. Comment down below, what you think Steven's favorite
color is.
Also, one thing we forgot. It's Steven's 30th birthday today.
Oh,
So
yeah.
happy birthday,
Hey.
Steven. I totally forgot till just now. Happy 30th, Steven.
Only 35 more years till retirement, boys.
Yeah. 35.
You're almost,
oh, yeah,
you're
no, it's
almost
35,
halfway there.
Yeah. It's exciting. But everybody wish Steven a happy birthday in your mind.
Or in the comments
Not
section.
in the comments. No, not in the comments.
You're
Do not write a single comment.
No,
Yeah.
wish me a happy birthday in some other random video that you watch next.
Yes, exactly. Do that. But not one of our videos. It's some random person's videos that you watch, other YouTubers. Wish Steven a happy birthday. All right. Thank you all for listening. Football!